Hi, my name is Amir Reza Koohestani. I was very thrilled when the first time I heard from our tour manager and tour administrator, Pierre Rice, that there is an interest of Sejong Center to invite Blind Runner, because it's the first time that we perform in South Korea. We've been performing in different countries in Far East, such as Hong Kong, Japan, Singapore, but it's the first time that we perform in South Korea and in Sejong Center. So we are very much looking forward, and we are all very excited to be here. I'm a theater director, writer, and I've been working in the theater since I was 21. It's been over 24 years that I've been working as a theater maker in Iran and outside of Iran as a director. And Amir Theater Group is also more or less 25 years old theater company that was established in Shiraz, in the city which I was born, and I started my work in Iran with a group of young actors based in Shiraz. And as I was the only one who could write, and I didn't find myself very talented in acting, so I become a kind of artistic director after a few years of trying out different things. And since then, since 2004 maybe, I acted as an artistic director of my theater group. That over 20 years, I think we created almost 15 to 17 production, and which mainly the majority of the production we created is being toured in outside of Iran, in Asia and Europe, and even South America and North America also. I could not imagine a better place to have an Asian premiere of Blind Runner than Sejong Center in South Korea. It's the first time that we perform in South Korea, so we are all very excited. And Blind Runner, maybe it's because of my newest piece with my theater group, so I'm also very much happy with the piece. So I'm very happy that we're going to have our favorite piece in South Korea for the first time. Blind Runner is the stories of a couple that regularly they visit each other in prison. And of course, because of the situation, there are many miscommunication, misunderstanding of each other, which they try desperately to solve it. Blind Runner, as the title suggests, it's the stories of a blind person which, with her guide runner, they try to pass the English tunnel to reach England. And usually the immigrant route is that they usually do it at the end of the day when the last train passed the tunnel, and they have 6 hours to reach England. Otherwise they would be hit by the first train in the morning at 6 o'clock. So they have 6 hours to run in the English Channel to reach England. However, we have also a story of a couple that the wife is in prison because of she's the political activist or journalist, and they regularly meet each other in prison, and that's how the wife suggested to husband that if he's interested to be the guide runner of this blind person. And as the husband actually felt a bit despair because of his wife is in prison, so this is how the stories evolve in the play. But on stage, what you can see is that naked stage is that nothing. We don't have anything on the stage apart from 2 actors and some light corridors, and the whole story is being told through in this empty space. So we don't have any physical stage, but it's more the imaginary stage we have. Well, in the play of Blind Runner, we were motivated to make this piece after the uprising in Iran in September 2022. So it was our main motivation to create the piece when the woman life freedom movement happened in Iran. If the audience knows more or less, or they can find or search about the movements, they may also have a better understanding about the play. But also, I think the play is also connected to the waves of the immigration to Europe. I think it would be also more helpful to also have some understanding and knowledge about the situation of immigrants nowadays, particularly in Europe. My main inspiration is basically watching the human interaction in the real world. I try to be more focused on what we don't see in the social media, in the virtual reality. So I try to remind the audience about the stories that are happening in the worlds that we could not capture them. If I want to say a message, it wouldn't be a message. I would call it a kind of situation. It's a situation of it's about the human beings that they are not able to stand up, to try to solve their misunderstandings that cause them to distance each other, to have a kind of detachment from each other in human interaction. But they are also unable to solve it, I would say, because of all the misunderstanding and miscommunication. So this is the same thing that we also have in the Blind Runner. My favorite color, as you can see, it's a blue. The reason, it's very difficult. I think blue is a melancholic freedom. Patient and concentration. I think these are the two main adjectives which I try to reach as a personality. I always try to keep my concentration, especially because usually I work in the countries that I don't speak their language, and I need to understand the human interaction through the other waves of expression than language. So for that, I need to be very concentrated, and for having this concentration, I need patience. I need to be very patient and very focused. So these are the two adjectives which I could describe myself, at least at work. A kind of like a physical connection in the contrast of a virtual connection, because we're living in the world that mainly the connection we have is through the social medias and in the virtual world. But I think inviting international productions such as our production to come to South Korea and to be in the same room like the audience and perform for them, I think this is a kind of a different connection that so far we have with each other through the virtual reality or virtual connections that we have. So I think it's an opportunity for us to be in part of this program in order to have the first direct connection and the physical connection and to be in the same room with the South Korean audience.